空気を殴りつけぶつけてくる体術技か。いわゆる空気砲。
If this was the real world, those punches wouldn't be the scariest thing you'd have to worry about, Madara. What? Do you think an intro would play now? Do I look like an animator to you? Anyway, a little while ago I posted a survey on Facebook on what my first science anime theory should be. And a grand total of, wait for it, 11 people wanted to see Naruto as the first episode. Okay, I know 11 isn't much, but hey, it means more than 0 people wanted to see my show, right? Right? Oh yes, before I forget, since I'm going to talk about events that happen in the anime somewhere around the episodes 400 to 420-ish, this will be your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the anime until then, don't watch this video. But I know you don't care, don't you? You cheeky little piece of shit. Okay, so you're wondering, what is there to talk about in Naruto? Where kids at the age of 10 already know how to be Jesus and how to defy the very laws of fucking nature by giving 0 fucks about gravity. Where they're reviving the dead like it's no big deal, and where they miraculously summon freaking meteors without ripping a giant hole in the Earth's atmosphere. I'm looking at you, Mr. Shadow of the Uchiha. So, where could you possibly find something science-worthy to talk about? Well, look no further than the green spandex wearing Super Bushibrow Sensei, the only one who, in comparison to the others, respects Mother Nature and its rules by only fighting with his bare fists and feet, and the only one who is using only taijutsu. But more on him later. In Naruto, ninjas use something that's called chakra to channel their life energy in order to use magic in combat called ninjutsu. Depending on the user, they also might use illusions to trap their opponents, which is called genjutsu. Now, of course, the concept of chakra and ninjutsu isn't anything new, and sure not fictitious. Well, not all of it. But, in real life, chakra and ninjutsu are something completely different. Chakra, meaning wheel or circle, is a form of energy, having its roots somewhere in India. Yes, you heard me right. India, not China. In India, chakra is believed to be some sort of psychic energy, helping somebody to achieve enlightenment. But that's not the kind of chakra we are looking for, is it? Enter the realm of Buddhist chakra. In Buddhism, chakra is being taught by monks in monasteries where they learn how to utilize all 7 chakra points in the body to harden specific areas of the body, or how to channel their chakra into the part of their bodies to do stuff like this, or this, or this. Awesome, right? Well, what about ninjutsu, you might ask? Ninjutsu isn't anything like the thing we see in Naruto. Called ninpo in more professional terms, it's a style of martial arts used by samurai and shinobi in the medieval and early modern Japan periods. Samurai were highly skilled, loyal warriors who spent their entire life serving the emperor. As you might know, samurai were fighting primarily with swords. But have you ever wondered what happened if a samurai lost his sword during the battle? Well, that's where ninpo comes in. Ninpo was a form of martial arts taught to samurai and shinobi, aka ninjas. This fighting style laid the foundations for newer fighting sports such as today's judo and jiu-jitsu. Now that we know what chakra and ninjutsu really are, we can finally talk about Mr. Super Bushibrow Sensei Gai, who, by the things we learned in today's episode, is the only one who is really using ninjutsu and chakra the proper way, despite him claiming he can't use ninjutsu at all. So, what makes Gai so terrifying that I spent half of the video explaining basically what he does? What truly makes him so devastating is his 8 inner gates technique. You might think he's overpowered already, seeing how he makes Madara Uchiha, the main antagonist in this series, so much trouble by only punching and shooting air at his face. But you might be surprised how powerful the 8 inner gates truly are. Now let's start analyzing Gai's 8 inner gates technique, specifically the 8th gate itself, the gate of death, step by step. Let's start with his aura. You see the red glowing thing around his body? That's not chakra, alright? No, as Madara himself explains it here. And according to the official Naruto wiki, it states that the red glowing aura is actually his blood steaming out of his pores. And that is a huge problem. Guy should be dead by this alone. If this is true and his blood is truly evaporating out of his body, then that means his blood has reached such a high temperature where his blood began to boil. Now let's say he's at 1 atm, 1 atmospheric pressure, which is at sea level. And since this article I found online tells me that blood has the same boiling point as water, that means his blood is approximately 100 degrees. Do you realize how bad this is? That means his blood is 63 degrees hotter than it should be. Since his blood is becoming steam, it creates pressure. Pressure that is trapped inside his body. And pressure has this weird habit of wanting to go from a higher point of pressure to a lower point of pressure, and vice versa. But since there is nowhere the blood can leave the body quickly enough, Guy's body should be swelling to double its size until Guy's organs and all of his insides are getting damaged to the point where he dies from internal bleeding, organ failure, or even worse. Okay, let's say Guy's body is stable enough to hold everything together. What about his other abilities? Let's see what shockwaves do when he powers up. Here, for example, where he activates the 7th gate, we can clearly see how the shockwave causes the ground around him to crack and to be pushed back. But how does that work? To understand how a shockwave is created, we must understand how sound works, specifically decibels. You see, your average conversation is about 60 decibels, a highway is about 90 decibels, a normal rock concert is about 125 decibels. Everything below 120 decibels is considered safe for the human ear, but if it gets louder, it can cause internal ear damage and maybe even cause your eardrums to explode. You must understand that for every 10 decibels, the sound isn't amplified by 10, no, but by 100. So 20 decibels isn't 10 times louder than 10, it's 100 times louder. Now, where do shockwaves come into place? At 195 decibels, everything made at this loudness isn't considered a sound wave anymore, but a shockwave. The atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki were as loud as 240 to 280 decibels, which doesn't sound much, but if you were standing around 500 meters in the radius of the bomb when it detonated, The blast from the shockwave alone would rip your organs apart, your ears would bleed, and your eardrum would most likely explode the second you heard the explosion. Now imagine what the shockwave Gai produces would do to Madara, Kakashi, and Lee, since they are just a few meters away from him. They would die instantly without hearing any sound of the shockwave. And since everything follows Sir Isaac Newton's law of every action must have an equal and opposite reaction, not only would the people surrounding Gai die, but Gai himself would be torn apart by his own explosion. Okay, let's say Gai and everyone else survive even that, since they are magic ninjas and all. So, what is his most powerful attack then? His most powerful attack isn't the so-called Elephant Morn? No, it wasn't that. Elephant Night? Elephant Tooth? Oh, thanks Lee. The Evening Elephant. No, it's not nearly as devastating as Gai's final move, the Night Gai. And no, I don't mean the weak ass kick that shreds Madara's left side of his body either. I mean this part. The part where Gai is moving so fast that he literally bends space. Now what does that mean? To bend space, someone or something must reach the speed of light or near the speed of light, which is around 300 kilometers per second. But since Einstein proposed that nothing with mass can reach the speed of light because of this thing here, which everybody should know by now, because the faster you go, more energy is needed to accelerate you, which in return makes you gain mass, which needs in return again more energy, and so on. You would need nearly an infinite amount of energy to reach the speed of light. So, to make it somewhat possible, we will make Gai run at 99% the speed of light. Now, that in of itself isn't possible either, but what if he could actually reach it? If he would start a few meters away from Madara, it would take roughly 4 nanoseconds to get to Madara, and since the human eye can't process any information that it sees in less than 10 million nanoseconds, nobody would even see Gai move at all. Everything they would see next is that they are being pulled in, because Gai's speed and his mass alone just created a black hole that would devour the whole Earth within seconds. And if the black hole wouldn't kill them all immediately, the energy released by the nanosecond Gai moved would burn everything to dust because of friction and air resistance. That's why Gai might be the strongest human in all of Naruto. Forget about Madara, forget about the Ten Tails. It's this guy, Gai himself, who is the real threat to the world. Hi guys, Muma here. If you made it this far, then congrats! You just won a trip to Hawaii. No, you didn't. But it means you are one of the few who like this video so much, they just wasted a full 12 minutes of their lives watching this. You're welcome. But if you really liked it, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any new episode of Anime Theory. I'm trying to put out a new episode every Sunday. Well, I hope so, because making these videos takes an obscene amount of time. I realized that I only have 2 videos until now, but trust me, editing those videos is hard. So please be sure to leave a like down below, because not only helps that my channel, no, it also gives me the motivation to upload more videos. Oh, and maybe consider supporting me on Patreon as well. With only $1 a month, you can help a desperate little YouTuber grow and help him create better, high quality content. Link in the description below. Oh, one more thing. If you have any suggestions on what my next anime science theory should be, leave it in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time.